Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus here again. You know I got a message to share with you. But today I was at a supermarket, and as I was walking into the store, there was a lady with a push basket, and she had in it a baby. She had one of the carrying things. She had a baby in, and I looked and saw the baby, and it was just as beautiful as could be. Beautiful. And I looked at it, and I'm thinking to myself, what a beautiful child, bringing and coming into a world like this. And you don't even know if this child is going to have any kind of life. Any kind of life, when everybody wants. And I'm thinking that this baby represents hundreds, perhaps thousands of babies that were born into this world within the past week. And they all have to face the same kinds of things that's going on. In fact, I wanted to bring a message today and share with you. And my subject will be America, this is what you have done. And this especially to white people. Now, white people, you might want to, if you're listening and you were watching, you might want to click off. But I would remind you that it would be better if you continue to listen, because everything that I'm about to tell you is not to hurt you or try to destroy you, but to try to do anything it possibly can to lift you up and save you. Because as I recognize the baby, and I'm recognizing what you have put before you, and my heart bleeds, my eyes cry, because I know what is in front of you. And I know where it came from. It came from hate. Hate is one of the tools that were used. See, the truth of the matter is that you don't really hate. You were not born into this world of hate. But you hate. And you were taught to hate. You were taught to not care. And that is a tool that is being used by someone who's using all of us, not just Americans, but all of the people. When they teach you to hate, and they do this for so long, it kind of gets you to commit to evil. And this effort, having gotten you to hate and other tools that are used that I'm not speaking of at this moment, they get you to accept anything, accept any kind of evil as you pursue and try to maintain your privilege, as you try to maintain your white supremacy. Now, it really doesn't, when you get down to it, it really doesn't matter that you're white. This idea of privilege and all of this hatred that is allowed to happen is because you are being used. And you're being used in such a degree that you don't even understand what it is. However, you are still willing to sell your soul in efforts to maintain your privilege. And these ones that is able to perpetuate this evil, when I think about as a child, and maybe you too, growing up, you watch comic books. Many of you young people today watch cartoons. Maybe you used to watch cartoons. Maybe you're into something else now. But you would always have some evil person. You would call them goblins. You might even refer to them as whatever, demons. They do nothing good. They always exacting evil wherever they go. That's why they're there, to cause evil. It's the kind of evil that we see today is where perhaps you take people that are trying to get into this country, and they're trying to live here the better life than what they have had someplace else. But the evil here has said it was okay for you in efforts to maintain your privilege. to send these people back to where they came from. Just don't want them here. And some you can't get back in time for whatever your agenda is. And so you want to put them in cages. And I heard somebody say Guantanamo Bay. And that was when you had prisoners of war that you stored in these cages to try to get some information out of them or just maintain them in a substandard situation. And now you're taking people who've been working here in this country, people who have been dedicated here in this country, and you stick them in there while you perpetuate your evil. And it's a sad statement, putting people in cages. But that's the evil that we're committed to, as I mentioned a moment ago, to have that privilege to sell your soul, and this evil one that you use to do the things that is being done to make sure you can have that privilege maintained. They don't care what it is, because they are not actually into anything that you think. They're using the American people for their own benefit. You know, you might ask yourself, who are these people that's doing all of this? Who are these people that are making sure that people hate, dividing people up? Who are these people that's deceiving people, giving them misinformation and disinformation? Who are these people who are calling for deception, who are setting it up so you, white people, hate black people, and you eventually are racist and bigots? Anything that your goblins, your demonic forces get you to accept as a means, you do. It's sad. But who are these people that don't care about black people, don't care about you, don't care about white people? They don't care any more about you than they do about black people. But there is an agenda. These are rich white men. Rich white men. They are rich. They have robbed the nation. And that was a time when you don't have what you so-called a global economy. But when you try to break it up and say you can go into other countries and trade with other countries and have business dealing with other countries, this gives you an opportunity to get more money. And so it makes it something that's easier for people to decide that they want to engage themselves in. And so having affected that, you have people that are multi-millionaires, they're billionaires and multi-billionaires, and they are able to influence the system wherever they are at in this economy, in this system. They're able to influence you. They know the ones that are more concerned about themselves than you white people. And so they try to manipulate you and convince you that if you got any problems, they come from black people. They come from people of color. And you should want to get them out of the way. But, excuse me. And while you're trying to get them out of the way, they are still using you. What is it like for you to say the richest man in the world? Now, I don't know if he's the richest man in the world. I doubt it. But he ranks amongst the richest men in the world. That's Musk. And who's hanging with him? Some dude, some criminal call himself the president of the United States, who wants to be, if not the richest man in the world, at least able to shoot pool and play golf with the richest man of the world, because he have robbed the people so much that he ranks amongst those who are considered the richest of the world. And they have bought him, the rich people, and influenced and even changed the system around that, where you had legitimate people in positions. They were all kind of crooked, but they had some character about them. And but when you have all of this evil that's coming down on you, I mean, it's really biting at you like fish. And so they're using their money to get people who you have voted into office to do certain things. It's not all good, but to do certain things. They've paid them off, bought them off. The ones they couldn't buy off, they got fired. And everybody else is just coming in to make it easier for these rich people not to just any longer deal with black people, even though they're dealing with black people and people of color, but to rip the country off, and that includes you, the white people. It's a sad statement, and part of that rip off you don't even understand. I heard the richest man has been put in a position of power that he can do some things, he can cause some, but you didn't elect him. You didn't say you wanted him. But the crook, the criminal that you said that you wanted because you didn't want anybody decent. You thought decent people would take away some of your privilege. Decent people might care about other folks and make sure that those things that are basically essential for having a kind of somewhat of a nice life. And you didn't want that because you think that if somebody else has a nice life, they're going to take away from your life. And you don't give a stink about anybody's life but yourself. In fact, when you think about the evil that these people have done to other folks, and they're doing it for you, it actually means that you yourselves are just as evil as these people who's perpetrating this evil for you are doing it in your behalf. It is a very, very sad statement. And these just to show you that what's going on that you probably haven't thought about that much, and maybe you have. They tell me that the richest man has been trying to get, going to the branch of government and get social security numbers of the people, or trying to get tax information from the people, and Medicare information from the people. And you might hear it, and you might wonder what's going on, but you so blind you don't think about it too much. But if you need somebody to tell you, you should know. This is where they're getting this necessary information so they can start creating your chips, to try and make sure that they get you set up to receive the mark of the beast, where you've heard about it, where you can't buy, you can't sell, you can't work, you can't get a house, you can't have places to live, anything, unless you totally submit. And when I say totally submit, you notice how people who are being fired because they wouldn't lie for this evil one, people who are being placed in positions of power or getting nice jobs have committed themselves to serve the evil one, to serve what we might call the demonic forces. And that is obvious to all of us, not just people of color, but it's obvious to you white people as well. You see the things that they've done will cause you pain, that they told you they were the answer to all of the problems, but when you put them in power, they start saying you still might have to go through a little pain, but you understand. Well, they're going to convince you on that, distract you while they're getting ready to mark you for the beast. You didn't know that, did you? Marking you, getting you ready right now, setting your chips up, getting your information so they can have everybody identified. And when you least expect it, you have to get your chip. Now, the thing of it is, when they try to chip you, you're going to accept it. Why? Because you're weak-minded. You're going to accept it because you don't have character. You're going to accept it because you have no divine power. I mean, the one you try to say you do, but it's counterfeit. It's just as counterfeit as what you call your alternative truths. Your alternative truths are lies. And the ones that you think are trying to protect you are doing nothing but setting you up to trick you and control and manipulate you to the max. Now, the thing that gets me is this. In America, you have men and women who fought the Japanese. They fought the Japanese because they wanted something different in this country. They wanted to protect this country. They wanted this country to be unique compared to other countries. They fought the natives, took their land. That wasn't anything to brag about, but to themselves they bragged about it because they had land. They fought the Koreans. They fought the Germans. I mean, actually put guns, went out to fight, kill, and be murdered in the process. But it allowed you to be manipulated, and for the things that have happened and the things that's happening to continue to happen. They fought the Iraqi people. I mean, they were just willing to do anything just to wear you down to the point that you got as hateful as you have become. So hateful that you did not recognize what is going on right now. You allowed a crook, a criminal, to get away with violating all the rules and regulations that have been set down through the Constitution to protect all Americans for all times from people like this. But you were blinded. Republicans, blinded. When there were people saying, we cannot put up with this, we don't want this, even voted that out of the House. This one, by the power of the ones who run the media, by the power of those who were able to help carry the lies forward, this man had stayed out of jail. But he was waiting out the clock. And then when he never stopped lying, he just intensified those lies. He did whatever the powers that governs him wanted done. And they were able to manipulate the voting in such a way that the Democrats, who are crooked as well, but offered you, the American people, a better plan, a better idea than what the Republicans were. But in the back of your mind, even though they told you something about eggs being expensive, too expensive, and other things, in the back of your mind, you knew what was happening. You knew they were going to deal with black people. They were going to protect your privilege, and that was the most important thing to you. So the fact that they had been fighting all these other people to protect this country from the kinds of things that they are now doing. And you who gave your lives, some of you walking around now with no legs, no arms, with plates in your head, trying to save and protect this country, now are victims by the same things that were conquering Germany, conquering Russia, conquering Italy, conquering everybody that was stupid enough to listen to them. And what made them stupid? They didn't have a true God to protect them. And that means you as well did not have a true God to protect you. But I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that don't blame God. Because God offered you paradise. God offered you the opportunity to not hate, to not even lie. You didn't have to. To not even think about crime and violence because you didn't have to. To bless you in such a way that you could feel that your needs, your wants, and your desires met at your leisure. That everything that you needed was made available to you. Not having you to go through kind of trouble, because he set it up in such a way that you could engage yourself in the same process that you engage yourself today. You call the manifestation. You are the ones that do the work that makes all of the stuff that exists in this country available to you. You're the ones that do it. But you're doing it for money, not for love. And the way the plan is for it to really be done is to do it for the love. Now that means you get a chance to choose, because no one knows what career you would love, but you do. You would choose a career yourself that you love, that would allow you to engage yourself continuously without any problems. And while you engaging yourself, you are causing a manifestation thereof. You are producing goods and services that you, the people, are excited about: food, clothing, and shelter, education, all those wonderful things. That's what God prepared for you. But because you were tricked by rich people, by people who were trying to rip you off, people who was telling you that they were doing this for your benefit, you were deceived. And so the true joy you never received. And while you're still thinking that you got something going on, these people, these evil people, these demonic forces, these rich billionaires are using you to not just take over your resources, but to take over you and your country, to control and manipulate you by having you become, committed to the beast. Isn't that something? All of this happened But you can't blame God. Not only that, but God still opened a door for you. And that was for black people. For black people, because black people are not caught up in that evil stuff. And they have a connection with God. And God can use them when he couldn't use you to take care of you. This is one of the things that gets me. But my heart hurts and cries because if you look at me, I'm kind of gray-headed now. And you can tell I only got not very long here on this earth. I could go in any moment, any time. The thing that bothers me is because what you need to save you, what you need to help you to get out of this mess, it's not out there. You know, people don't know what's going on. And when you have worked so hard to maintain your privilege that you just totally disregarded of black people, and now that you have put yourself in a position to be brought down and have to go through this pain and suffering that some of the black people, well, all black people have had to go through. When you voted against your own interests, all of you know who you are. And you're finding it out. And it is something for black people just laugh at. They don't want to laugh, but they feel that it makes them better laughing at you because of the role that you play in causing this pain on yourselves. Now, you're losing your privilege. You're definitely going to lose your privilege. You're going to be treated just like anybody else. You're going to be treated just like blacks and people of color. Under the mark of the beast, you're going to be treated exactly like that. And see, people are laughing because they figure you are due to have your head slapped. You are due for a beating. You are due this. And folks many people are excited that they know it's coming to you. And you don't really know what to do. You have no idea. But black people they just might wake up and realize that it's better for them because of their nature to stand up and put the devil in his place. And while the blacks are putting the devil in his place, it's going to require your support. And you will be so glad that somebody's trying to help you, somebody's defending you. But they're not just that, they're defending everybody. And they, my friends, maybe together with you, will be able to save you from this monster. Now, the thing that bothers me is that while you have been given proposals that would offer you the opportunity to experience paradise in your life, and you've rejected it, it would be great if these countries, what this criminal president have called shithole countries, if they could get this plan for paradise, and exercise the basic principles that are essential in causing this to be, and create within themselves a paradise kind of living. And those people who have been threatened by your rich folks to bend so you can rob them more, for they can get that plan and implement that plan that would allow them to experience paradise. And all of the people that commit within themselves and to themselves that they're going to have a better life, and they're willing to do what it is to make it better, have a better life, while you, who couldn't accept anything but being number one, you could not accept anything but being the greatest, you could not accept anything. That's why you stole and killed and did everything you possibly could to get your hands in that which belonged to somebody else. Now, your basic concern was privilege, but you were being used and you were being manipulated by those who wanted money so that they can rule and manipulate not only people of color, but you as well. So if the shithole countries, if Canada and Mexico, nations that you and others that your criminal president just threatened, if they could have the plan and exercise the plan and prepare and create amongst themselves a wonderful life all around you to show you what it means to say making people great, making nations great, and being real without the hatred, without the racism, without the bigotry and all that ugly stuff that is coming to America. I'm sorry, my friends, but it looks like this is what you've brought on yourself. And you cannot blame God. There's nothing you can blame God about. You can only hope that black people wake up and come to your rescue. I'll be back, I'm sure, talking to you some more if I'm still around. Like the first time this criminal was running for president, had a lot of people running against him, and everybody told you this is a demon. There's nothing good about him. You didn't buy that. Or you bought it and liked it. Whatever lies he told, they call them alternative truth, you accepted it as truth, something that would work for you. And you put him in the White House. And during the period of time, you, along with other folks, decided you didn't want anything to do with this guy. You threw him out. But the Republicans, white people, in the Senate said, oh no. And he had the system stacked, the judges stacked, the Supreme Court stacked, everything just as criminal as it could possibly be, making it possible for what has happened to happen. Well, it's a sad day, but your mark is being prepared so that everybody will know that you are giving your loyalty to the beast, selling your soul to the beast. Your soul has already been sold. You're just getting ready to identify, let everybody know who and what you have done. I'm so sorry, but I do hope that these other nations can get a chance to experience the true love of the true God, the universal God, as he and they work together to create that paradise that I was hoping that you would have accepted. Well, that's good for now. I'm sorry. I truly am sorry for you.